Today we are going to get into another important part that is basically about the relationships. Okay. So in our last session we discussed about different components like objects, apps, tags, fields that we created. Now once you've created the individual components, the next thing that you have to do is you basically have to relate the objects. And relationship is a concept which is basically in the data model. So it has got nothing to do uh, much on the user interface or on the front end. It is more of a database concept, relationship. So people who are from database background might have some understanding on this. Can we have the microphone muted, everyone? Some typing sound. Shalendra, microphone mute, please. Thank you. Okay. So relationship is basically when data in one object is related to the data in other object, then you need to create a relationship, right? For people who have done some sort of database concepts in their job or in the college, might already be aware of it. But for people who are very new to this concept, let me just try and explain it to you. If there are two different tables, let's say there is some information in this table, and then there is another table. Okay, and if the information is related, for example, in one of the tables you have the list of countries, in other table you have the list of cities. Okay, now you need to relate a particular city with a particular country, that this city belongs to which country, then you have to have a relationship between them. Correct. So all the cities are listed and countries are listed in a different table, and you just need to form an association between the city and country, then there has to be a relationship between these two tables, which will allow you to connect a city with a given country. Correct. So that's what a relationship basically is. So data, when the data into different object is connected, then we need to basically get into the relationship concept. All right. So we are going to talk about relationship and a few other concepts today. So first of all, let's come to the app that we were building. So this is what we built. This is what we have already built, right? Or we have already designed this one. Now, projects is an individual independent object. People is an independent individual object. Okay. Don't you think that somewhere you need to track who is working on which project? Some point of time you have that requirement to track who is working on which project. You have the list of projects and then you have the list of people. That's absolutely okay. But who is working on which project, that is again important, right? So how do you do that? For that, you have to figure out what kind of a relationship you have here, and then you will basically set up the relationship. So a usual relationship is basically a parent-child relationship. Okay, so a usual relationship is a parent-child relationship where one object acts as a parent and the other object acts as a child. Now, if I ask you a question, if there's a relationship between project and people, if I have to relate the data, which one should be parent and which one do you think should be child?
Project parent and people child.
Okay, what is the logic behind that? Why do you think so?
In one project, there can be multiple people working.
Okay,
Uh, so this is like one to many, but like one people usually can't work in multiple projects.
okay. So the logic that he is saying is the same project can have multiple people working on it. So one project will have multiple people under it. So project becomes the parent and people become the child. Okay. So there will be a lot of situations where you are straight away able to figure out which is the parent, which is the child. Like this one. One project, multiple people, one to many. So project becomes parent and people becomes the child. Right? So out of the parent-child relationship, all that you have to do is you have to go to the child object, go to child object and create the relationship field. Alright, so all that you have to do is you just have to go to the child object and create the relationship field. Now in this case, people is the child object as per this current discussion that we had. So we should go to the child object and create the relationship field. That relationship field will connect it to the parent object. How do you do that? Let's go to the same application that we did yesterday. So I'll just go to the child object, which is the child object people. And I'll create a relationship field here. Click on new. Okay. So I'll create a lookup relationship field here. There are two types of relationship field. You don't have to worry about master detail right now. You just consider the lookup relationship. Select this, go to next. Okay. Now you want to relate this object to which object? I want to relate it to project. Where is my project? Here it is. Go to next. Next. Make it visible as we do for any other field. Click on next. This is fine. Click on next. This is also fine. Okay. So I've created a field, a relationship field on the people object, which connects that particular record to the project. Now we have, and under project we have project 1, project 2, project 3, right? So under people we have some, someone like this Jeet Singh. Now I want to assign this person to a certain project. So all that I have to do is I just have to use the relationship field that we created, the project relationship field. Click on the lookup icon and select on which project this gentleman is working on project 1. Save. Right. Now if you go to the projects and click on the project 1, see, because project is the parent record, so if you go to the parent record you will find the list of people who are working on that project. So now these two data are related, okay, the project and people. Got it? So this is a simple example of one-to-many relationship. So whenever you have two objects, for example you have account and contact, let's assume account and contact, which one is parent, which one is child? Anyone? Account and contact, which is parent and which is child?
Account, parent, and contact
Account is
child.
parent, so contact is child. So on which object should we have the relationship field?
Contact.
On the contact. So exactly go and see, because this is already given by Salesforce. So if you go and see this, in contacts, when you try to create a new contact, when you edit a contact, there is a relationship field for account. This can be used for connecting this contact to a certain account. Correct. The same way, account and opportunity, account is parent, opportunity is child, account and cases, account is parent, cases is child, right? So this is the simplest kind of relationship, right? There will be only two types of relationship, one to many and many to many. One to many is this one, the parent-child relationship. This is also called one to many. Okay, so one to many means the parent-child basically. One parent can be associated to many child records. So whenever you have this kind of a requirement that there is a relationship which is one to many, there's a clear parent, there's a clear child, all that you need to do is you just need to go ahead and create a lookup field on the child object. That's it. You don't need anything else. Your job is done. Now come to a situation, the same requirement. Let's go into the same requirement. Let's go into the same scenario that we were discussing. Do you think one person will only work on one project?
No.
What we have done right now, we have associated one person and we have allocated that person to a project. This project will end in 2 or 3 months. Try and understand the functional thing first, and then we will get into how we will do it transaction wise or technically how we are going to achieve it. First of all, understand the functional concept. Now in this particular example, we just considered right now, we considered that one person is allocated to one project, but that project will end in 2 or 3 months, right? Or maybe 1 year or 2 years. After that, this person has to move to some other project, right? Correct? So
Yes.
basically creating this kind of a field, now what we have done in this example, what we have done, we have associated this person Jeet Singh to one project only. But after 6 months, this person is actually going to work on another project. What will you do at that point of time? Will you remove this project? Let's say after 3 months he starts working on project 2. Then if you go and edit this to project 2, let's say I change it to project 2. I can do this, but the problem is then I'm losing the previous information that he was a part of project 1 also. That information gets lost. Correct? So this is a situation where people is not the child. Okay. So assuming that one person can work on multiple projects, sometime back we just considered that one project will have multiple people working on it. That's the reason project is parent and people is child, right? Now the other functional aspect tells us that one person can also be associated with multiple projects. Now which one is the parent and which one is the child?
People will be parent.
But on the other hand, you also need one project to be associated to multiple people, right?
Yeah.
So this
So
is,
that
yeah. So this is
many to many, is it?
meant to be correct. Yeah. So this is a situation you will come into this kind of situation where you cannot find a parent and a child. Okay. One record from this object can be connected to multiple records on this object and vice versa. One record from here can be connected to multiple on the other side. Now that's where it's difficult to figure out where do I go and create the relationship field, because none of them is child. Previous example was simple. You identify the parent, you identify the child, and you straight away go and create the relationship on the child object. That was a pretty simple example, right? Now when you do not have that understanding that which one is the parent and which one is the child, or a many to many kind of a relationship, here the big question is, see, functionally though we have understood that this is a many to many relationship, because one project can be associated with multiple people and one person can work on multiple projects. So functionally now this is clear. You can identify that which one is a many to many relationship. Okay. For you to understand this a little more clear, let me give you one more example. Think of a job consultancy staffing company. Staffing company will have a list of jobs. They can have a table where all the jobs are listed. They can have a list of all the applicants, people who are applying for jobs. What kind of a relationship do you think there is between a job and an applicant? Is it one to many? If it is one to many, which is parent, which is child, or is it many to many? If you have a table where all the jobs are listed, if you have a table where all the job applicants are listed, which one is a parent and which one is a child? Sorry. Anyone?
I think it should be
Will not
many
be
to
any
many.
Mm-hmm.
will not be any parent-child relationship in that case because multiple applicants can apply for multiple jobs in that case.
Yes. So here also it's the same kind of a situation. It's difficult for you to figure out one parent and one child. So basically, what will happen here is the same applicant can apply for multiple jobs, like you do. If you go to monster.com, what do? You apply for multiple jobs. And the job that you are applying for, there are multiple people who are applying for that job. So there is no parent, no child. Jobs and applicants, there is a many to many relationship. Got it? So any such requirement will be a many to many relationship. Now the problem is that when you have this many to many relationship, where do I go and create the lookup relationship? Because none of them is a child. Both of them say that I am parent. Now where do I go and create the relationship with? So here is the trick. You have one object, you have another object, none of them is a child, so you cannot create a relationship field on any of them. How do you connect them? You have to create a third object which will be a common child. Okay, you have to create a third object which is going to be a common child, and you have to create the relationship field on this object. And this child, the third object, this is usually called a junction object. So we call it a junction object. Why junction object? Because it is actually connecting with these parent objects. And this will have two relationships, one with this and one with this. So this object, the junction object, will have two relationship fields. One will connect it to this particular project, and the other will connect it to the EP. Okay. So now these two objects are going to be related through this junction object. Got it? So that's how you deal with a many-to-many relationship. Let's go ahead and do this. So now if I have to build a many-to-many relationship between people and project, all that I need to do is I just need to go ahead and create a junction object. You can name it whatever you want, but functionally it is called junction object. You can name the object whatever you want. So it's actually going to be an object. So you just need to go to setup, create object, create new custom object. You can give it any name, assignment. So this is my junction object. Okay, I can call it an assignment or whatever name I want to give. Basically, this is a junction object. Okay, I will use this to connect these two objects. So all that you have to do is you have to create or connect this object to both the parent objects. So this object will be connected to the people as well as project, or this will be made a child of project as well as people. So all that you need to do is just have to go and create the relationship fields on the junction object. Click on junction object, make a lookup relationship with this on project. Okay. So I just created a relationship field of this on this junction object which connects it to the project. Then I'll have to create another field which connects it to the people object. That's all we need to do. Okay. Now this one has two relationship fields. One is the people, the other is project. Right? All right. Now if you go to the people object, that's it. G. Now under this you will see assignments. Okay. So it is not going to directly connect to the project. It's going to connect to the project through assignment. So you've got a new assignment to work on project one. G project one. Okay. So through assignments, now I am able to associate this person with multiple projects. You see, one assignment is on project one assignment. So earlier, the thing that we did with that, we were just able to, mark only one project at a time. But with the help of this junction object, I'm able to track multiple projects. So in assignment, we can also have the start date, end date, so that you can get a clear understanding that from which start date to which end date this person was working on which project, right? That case. The same way, this assignment list is going to be available under projects also, because assignment is a child of project as well. So if you go to a project one, you will see the list of people who are working on this particular project. So that's how it is. Correct. So you get to know, okay, Jeet is working on this particular project. So if there are more people, for example, let me add one more person here. There is one more person Hema here. Hema is working on project one. But let's say I want to add Hema to project one from the projects page. On project one, we feel that there's one more person working on it. So you just click on new assignment. So if you go to a certain project, you will see the list of people who are working on it. If you go to a certain person, you will get to see the list of projects that he has worked on. That's the good thing about your junction object. So the connection has been done, the records are related, but they are related through a third object, which is called the junction object. Let me know if anyone has any difficulty understanding this concept of the junction object or many-to-many relationship. So whenever you have a relationship requirement, either it will be a one-to-many straightforward relationship, or it will be a many-to-many relationship. So in case you are not able to figure out which is the parent, then consider the many-to-many relationship concept. and see if there is a many-to-many relationship concept. So whenever there is a many-to-many relationship, there will be the requirement of a junction object. You just have to create the junction object, and junction object needs to be made the child of both the parent objects. That's all you have to do. Okay. Now, lookup relationship. Small thing that you noticed is relationship is actually being created through a relationship field, right? Out of all the field types that you saw there. So yesterday we were marking it. Yeah. We were marking the field types, right? What information will go here, number, text, pick list, date, phone, currency, whatever. Now you see that there is a field type called relationship field type also, right? So there are two types of relationship fields. One is lookup, one is master detail. Okay, lookup is the generic relationship field. Master detail is also a relationship field, but it has a few special features available. Okay, it comes with a few special features. Got it? So that's what we have in our relationship, master detail relationship. It's not the general lookup field. It has a few special features available. Okay. So what features do we have in master detail? What features do we have in master detail relationship? That is pretty much available when you try to create a master detail relationship. You will be able to read those things. Any object. Okay. So if you look into this here, lookup is the generic kind of a relationship. Master detail relationship has a few additional features as compared to the lookup. What are those? The master detail relationship, in master detail relationship, the relationship field is required on all detail records. Okay. So in case of a master detail relationship, the relationship field is required on all detail objects. So the point is, we created a relationship field on the people object, right? Okay. Uh, we created a relationship field here, right? Was it a lookup or master detail? Anyone remembers? Was it a lookup or master detail? We just created this relationship. Did we create a lookup or master detail? Quickly, anyone? No? Okay, it was a lookup.
Can you come again, please? I didn't get your question.
What was the relationship field that we used for creating it? Did we create a lookup or master detail here?
Lookup.
This is lookup.
We created a lookup. If you see, the field is not required. Is this field required? No. I mean, if you put value into it or if you don't put value, you will be able to save the record. Okay, it's not mandatory like project PP name. There's not a mandatory field. But if you use a master detail relationship, then this will always be required. Okay, so this field is going to be required. That's what it means. So in case, as I said, master detail relationship has a few special features. So in case of master detail relationship, the relationship field will always be required. Other thing about the master detail relationship is that in case of a master detail relationship, the child record will not have owners. The child record will not have an owner. So who will be the owner of the record? Parent will be the owner of the child record as well. When a user deletes the master record, all detail records are deleted. So in case you have created a master detail relationship between two objects, if someone deletes a parent record, all the child records will also be deleted. But that is not the case in a lookup relationship. In lookup relationship, even if the parent is deleted, you have this possibility of keeping the child records. Okay. And one more difference or one more special feature that a master detail relationship has is that you can create a roll-up summary field on the master record. So what is a roll-up summary field? Roll-up summary field is this one. If you see, there's one more field type, roll-up summary. It's basically a read-only field that displays the sum minimum or maximum value of a field in a related list. So for example, if I have a project, okay, and on that project I have assignment 1, assignment 2, sorry. Okay. Now, a roll-up summary field basically allows you to summarize these records, child records, and display it on the parent. Okay, so that's what a roll-up summary field does. Let's say you have a duration. This is a 3 hour assignment. This is a 4 hour. This is 5. This is 6 hours. This is 2 hours. This. So a roll-up summary will allow you to do an average or sum of all these child records and display it on the parent object. So that's what a roll-up summary does. Roll-up summary field does. Okay. Roll-up summary field works only when the relationship is a master detail relationship. It will not work if it's a lookup relationship. Okay. So these are the differences between lookup and master detail. So when you are creating a master detail relationship, let me repeat the differences or the additional functionalities that a master detail relationship has. The first one, relationship field is required. Number one. Okay, the first is relationship field is required. The second is um, child records do not have owners. Third, child gets deleted with parent. So there is no way you can retain the child records while deleting the parent. Child will always get deleted with the parent. And roll-up summary is allowed. Right. So that's what we have here for the master detail relationship. Okay, let me know if anyone has any question or doubt on the master detail relationship, understanding the concept. So basically, if you are not very sure whether to use a lookup or master detail, go ahead with a lookup because that's more generic. Okay, so whenever from now onwards, whenever you have a requirement for relationship, you should consider these points that do you need these features? If you need these features, go ahead with master detail. If you feel that you don't need these features, you are okay with a lookup relationship. If you are not able to figure out which one you need, then also you are okay with a lookup because that's more generic, right?
Can you give us an example as you did in the local relationship thing?
An example. See, example can be anything, whatever relationships we have done today, you can take that example also. So you just have to figure out whether you need, for example, uh, I say project and assignment. Okay. Now let me, ask you the same question instead of me explaining it to you. You guys tell me whether you should have a lookup or a master detail relationship between a project and assignment. So, what is the best way to figure it out? The best way to figure out is, do I need master detail relationship functionalities? So, first thing that you have to figure out is whether relationship field is required or not. So, do you think every time you are creating an assignment, that assignment has to be associated with a project, or you can just have an assignment which is not associated with any project? Because if relationship field is mandatory, then every assignment you create has to have a project associated to it, right? So that's the first question that you have to answer, or the first thing that you have to understand. Do we need that? Yes or no? Okay. Do I need separate owners for assignments? That's the second question that you have to understand or you have to answer. That do you need individual owners for assignment, or the person who is owning up the project can be owner of all the assignments under it? Okay. If you need individual owners, then you should go with lookup relationships. Okay. If you need the same person who is owning up the project to own all the assignments also, then you are okay with master detail also, right? Are you okay with the concept all the assignments will be deleted when a project is deleted? Do you want that sort of situation? So this point, the point number one and point number three are kind of related. Point number one and point number three are kind of related. Then, do you have a requirement of a roll-up summary? Do you want to, create a roll-up summary on project to get some sort of summary of the child assignments? If that is the case, then again you need a master detail relationship. Correct? So whenever you have this kind of a relationship requirement, you have to figure it out based on these factors. Does that help?
Is it the mandatory to satisfy all the conditions, or if you are good with any one of the conditions, we can go with the master detail?
See, it's not mandatory. Basically, see, what we are talking about is on the concepts, right? So it's not, a mathematical function that we are writing. It is a concept, right? You have to see the condition and you have to realize that, okay, what is good for me? For example, you don't think about all conditions. If you need a roll-up summary, then master detail relationship is the only option, right? So you don't even need to look into all three others. The moment you see, so you don't have to go through each and every one of them. You just have to see what you need. Got it. So if, as I said, if it's just about a roll-up summary field, then lookup does not have a roll-up summary field. So only this condition is, fair enough for you to judge whether you need a lookup or master detail. Got it. The same thing, if only this condition, the child records need individual owners, then this condition is sufficient for you to decide that no, I cannot go with a master detail because I need individual owners. Got it? So depending on the requirement again. So nothing mandatory like that, but gradually you guys will start understanding.
If you don't mind, can you please create one master detail relationship in the system? This will give us a better idea.
Why should I create? You go ahead and create. It's same as lookup relationship. Just that the once you have created the relationship field, you will have two things. One, the child records will not have owners. the way you see it here. Where did we create lookup? Okay, see, this is a child record on the lookup relationship, right? It has an owner field. Once you create a master detailed relationship, this will not be there and this will be mandatory. And then you will have the option of creating roll-up summary. Okay, and creating the field is exactly the same the way you create a lookup relationship. Everything remains same. Which object are we into? We are on project. Okay, let me create a relationship between project and account. See, by default visible. Okay. So while creating a master detail relationship, you have to keep in mind that you should not have existing records also there, right? If you have the records available, then what will happen? It is not able to assign a parent to those records. So you just have to see that you do not have those records available. So this is one more thing that you have to look into. You should, while you're creating a lookup master detail relationship, you just need to make sure that you do not have existing records, because existing records will not be able to get their parents. Parent is a required thing here. Connected with account, including next, remaining everything is same. Okay, now there's a master detail relationship between project and account. So if you go to a project, try to create a new project, you see owner is not there and account has become a mandatory field. Right? So that is the primary difference that you will be able to notice. Apart from this, you will be able to create a roll-up summary field also. And when you delete the account, all the projects under that account will get deleted. Right. Let me know if anyone has any other question or doubt here.